Welcome to this segment of The Way of Things. In this segment, we're talking again about desert survival. In this segment, we're going to talk about surviving in the desert in what I would call a normal day hike situation, where you left home, drove out in the desert, and went hiking. And we're going to talk about conditions a little different than heat. A lot of people don't realize it, but these deserts in the Southwest can get very cold at times, especially if you get caught out overnight. So we're going to talk about desert survival and at night. This is my brother-in-law, Tim Liddell. Now, he's done a lot of extensive hiking throughout the desert, especially Joshua Tree and the Death Valley, and even in places in Arizona. So Tim, let's talk about this. If we're at this point where we're getting ready to leave the vehicle, and we're in, just say, December or January, maybe it's 60 degrees or something, fairly pleasant, and we're getting ready to go out hiking. What kind of things do we want to have in our backpack before we leave the vehicle?
Well, going back to the list of the 10 essentials, one of the things that you have to really be sure you have and start thinking about that you may need later in the day, even though you start out when it's 60, 70 degrees and you're in your t-shirt, at night it could get very cold, it could rain. So you want to think about a few things that are really important in that pack for those conditions, like the fire, to get a fire started, which can also make smoke, a signaling smoke for later if you need it.
That is on the 10 essentials, something to start fire with.
That's right.
Yeah, so we do need that.
Another item is on there was clothing, but one of the most important things is a windbreaker, a nylon thick weave windbreaker. They weigh very, very little. Here's one here. It rolls up really tight, weighs nothing. This item here can, even if you're wearing a t-shirt, you can put this on over your t-shirt and you would be amazed how warm this will keep you. It really keeps the heat in.
So essentially it's going to cut the wind chill to zero.
Cuts the wind chill right down. That's why they call it a windbreaker.
Now, one of the things, Tim, I often carry with me that's very compact is a knitted cap, because they say, you lose a lot of body temperature out of your head, and it's very light and compact, and it's another piece of clothing that can literally save your life when that temperature really drops. And of course, anytime you leave the car, you have to be prepared to maybe spend the night out there. If for some reason either you get lost or you have some other problem, that you don't get back to the car, which is your primary life support system. But we're now talking about getting out there. So what are some of the other things that we're going to want to do in cold weather hiking in these southwestern deserts?
Well, one of the things on the list was the thermal blanket. Here's one. A few dollars, you can own several of these things. They'll do a lot of things. They're waterproof. They'll keep the rain off of your body. They'll keep you warm. They're good for reflection, for what sun that there is. Just get 2 or 3 of these and put them in your pack. And this one's...
And of course, being waterproof, I think, is a very important thing, because if you do get rained on, I suppose there's times when that could literally kill you. You get out there in January in some freezing rain, and you've got 10 miles to get back to your vehicle. It could make the difference.
Yes. Now this item here opens up.
Now this thing could also be used as a reflector to try to gain attention if you were down and out. Now, also on your 10 essential list, you also have something to start fires. Now that obviously can keep you warm, but I think we can also use that as a signal, much like this, could we not?
Sure you could. Keeps you warm, it's a signal, it reflects the heat.
And Tim, how might we use the fire to get signals?
If you were going to do a fire for a signaling fire in the daytime, you would put something green on there. Makes a lot of smoke. Smoke can be seen for a long distance, and that will help you out.
And I think also there's the 3 fires also is that universal signal for help, is it not?
The 3, yes. 3 blasts is a signal for help.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the whistle.
Yes, and that's on the list, and that's something I haven't really carried much, but I think it's probably worth
Signaling
considering.
device, and if you're gonna have a whistle, which you should have, a real shrill whistle, another cheap item you can buy anywhere, take it and put it on the outside of your backpack. So if you happen to fall, you've got that whistle, hopefully your backpack's gonna stay on your body. If you fall, that whistle is right there, and if you can't get at anything else in your backpack, hopefully you've got your whistle right there, and that can be heard for miles.
Okay, so basically what we need to do when we're thinking about desert survival in this day hike situation, we have our 10 essentials, but we need to emphasize that we might be out overnight. And that weather, that temperature is almost certainly going to plummet. And things like the windbreaker, the space blanket, the knitted cap, the ability to start a fire, all of these things are going to keep us warm and alive.
Yes.
And I think that's really what we need to be able to do, and the strategy we need to have in our mind before we leave the car.
You have to think that even though you're going on a day hike, that you may be needing to stay overnight, at least one night, and you should have enough in that pack to be able to help you survive. It may not be totally comfortable, but you'll probably make it through the night and probably through the next day or even beyond that if you carry the right items.
So if you're taking off and you ask yourself that question, what happens if I have to spend the night? And the answer is, well, I'll probably die. You probably are doing something wrong, something you need to rethink.
Right. You probably
Because there's essential equipment that you could take that would make the difference.
Yeah, we don't think about that as much as we should in the modern day. I mean, everything is so convenient and handy. We go down and buy everything we need right away. But if you're going to be going off into the natural world, especially the wilderness, or even a national park, you need to be prepared to take care of yourself, because eventually people will start looking for you and caring for you, but for a while you may need to take care of yourself. So it's just part of the hiking experience.
Well, I think that's the way of things in the wilderness. You need
Yes.
to take care of yourself. And with that, me and Tim thank you for watching this video.